In this video I want to show you some of the ideas that I really like to use when I'm improvising over a minor 7 chord. So I'm going to take a C minor 7 and show you 3 different lines and talk about the melodic building blocks that make up those lines, such as arpeggios, scales and chromaticism. I think this is a really good way to demonstrate how I combine different things in my playing, and it also gives me a chance to talk about some of the things that I didn't really work on in a systematic way, like stuff I transcribed from solos. In the first line I'm starting off with a stagger fourths as the first arpeggio that I'm playing. So normally when you play a stagger fourths you do that with one note per string, kind of pattern like this. But this is something that I transcribed out of Allan Holdsworth Solo. Actually it's from a YouTube video, so I'll link to it in the description of this video. And the idea is here that instead of using one note per string, we just lay it out on 2 strings with a string script, so we get this. And this is something that I kind of took it out of that solo, and then I've been messing around with it and using it. It works really well if you try to apply it to pentatonic scales, because pentatonic scales and stacks of fourths are really sort of closely related. So I've been messing around with that, and maybe I'll make a video on that at some point soon. So first this arpeggio, also already like quite a big range on this line. From here I go down to the 5th of C minor, so the G, and here this is also just like a basic C minor line. So the idea is just that I'm playing the G, and then actually what I'm doing is I'm playing this type of line, so G and then the E flat D and then down to the C. But instead of hitting the C, I take a chromatic lead note below, so I go, and then on the one on the next bar I can just run up the scale. And then I skip up to the 7th, and then up to the root, so the octave, where I pull off, and then I take the last note, it's this high G. And the idea with that is, if you have these sort of large intervals at the end of the line, and you can still make it sound sort of logical, then that really brings out the ending of the line, and it's sort of a nice dramatic effect. So that's something that I mess around with a lot in my lines. When you're improvising over a minor 7 chord, it's very important that you also know some of the other arpeggios that you can use from the scale, and that's kind of what I'm using in this second line. So what I'm starting off with is the arpeggio from the 5th, so the G minor 7 in this case, and from there the G minor 7 is an okay arpeggio to use on a C minor, but you have to be a little bit careful because you're missing the 3rd, so it can be difficult to really get the sort of the minor 7 sound out of it. But in this case I'm using first the G minor 7, and then I'm actually using that to sort of really emphasize the 3rd of the chord, which is the E flat of course, and then from there I'm playing the E flat major 7 arpeggio. So we have, and up here we're ending on the 9th of the chord, so we're really spelling out an arpeggio on a strong beat, or an extension on a strong beat, and that's resolved chromatically, and then just down to the 5th, and then I'm playing this stagger fourths, and then resolving that to the 5th of the chord. If you want to play a really clear line on a minor 7 chord, you kind of need to hit the 3rd, so in this case the E flat. But one way to make the line a little bit more exciting is also to just delay or suspend that a little bit, and the way I'm doing that in this line is that I'm playing a chromatic enclosure before I hit the 3rd. So I'm aiming for the E flat here, but I'm starting on the D, and then I go up to the F, and then move down to the E, and then again down to the D. So I'm sort of coming around it, starting below, above, and then back down under, and then I'm resolving. So now we're spelling out the chord a bit, so we're really emphasizing the E flat. From there I'm using the arpeggio from the 3rd, as I did in one of the other lines already. But here I'm using it in sort of a sequence, so I'm playing first just the E flat major triad, and then I'm going up to, skipping from the G here up to the 7th, so the D, and And this I turn into sort of a Metheny descending, chromatically descending thirds idea. Now I'm saying Metheny because I think most of us know it from Metheny. He uses it really a lot. I think he actually got it from Miles Davis, because I have a few records with Miles where he's doing pretty much the same thing quite often. I think it's on 4 and More, he does that a few times. So that could be that Metheny actually took it from Miles Davis, but I'm not sure. For me it's anyway something that I just really connect with Metheny. So. And then just, since it's just moving down, I need to resolve it at some point. And when I'm moved down, so because I get the D, B flat, and then C sharp A, which is completely outside. C is not so outside. A flat is not really fitting in this context because the lines that I'm using here are all Dorian. But that I can just resolve by pulling off to the 5th of C, so the G. And then from here I go up to the B flat, so up to the 7th. And then I'm sort of making this short, almost like G minor pentatonic line, where I can end on the 11, which is a nice sort of open note to end on a minor 7 chord. There was 3 examples of some lines that I might play over a minor 7 chord in a sort of Dorian context. This is of course a bit different from how I normally do the videos, but I thought it would be interesting just to maybe give some examples of some lines and then talk about how they're constructed in terms of the different things that I talk about in all the other videos. So if you have a favorite thing that you use over a minor 7 chord, then maybe leave a comment on this video. And I'm of course also curious what you think about the format. So do you think these type of videos might be something I should do more of, or do you think that I should just stick with the more topical videos that I've been doing until now? If you want to download a PDF of the 3 lines that I went over in this video, then you can go to my website. In the article that's accompanying this video, then there's a PDF download. And when you're there, you can also subscribe to my newsletter. If you subscribe to my newsletter, you get a free ebook with 15 251 licks, with some auto dominance and some other interesting ideas that you can check out. And of course, if you have any questions about the stuff that I went over in this video, or suggestions for videos or other remarks, then feel free to leave a comment. It's nice to get some feedback from you guys. And you can of course also let me know by connecting with me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Instagram, so there are lots of places where you can reach me. That's about it for this week. Thank you for watching, and until next week.